Hey guys, I'm really excited this morning to be going over multiplayer in Assemblage of Eternity. First of all, we assume that you've watched the two previous videos. If you haven't, go back and check those out. Multiplayer in Assemblage of Eternity is a lot more complex for new players, so we strongly recommend becoming familiar with the 1v1 before giving any of the multiplayer modes a try. If you're trying multiplayer for your first time, we suggest starting with tag mode since it's the simpler of the two modes. Also, the more balanced version. So let's start with tag. So first of all, let's talk about what's different during setup. Really, the only big two differences is that each player should add a tag common card to their hand. This way, each of the 4 players will have a copy of tag in their hand, as well as the normal dash and throw common card at the start of the match. Then, each team decides who will be up first. This can be done randomly or agreed upon secretly. Once both teams have come to a conclusion, they place the figure of whoever decided to start first on the board, like this was just a normal 1v1. Now we're ready to start. So the only big differences, just to recap, is that the players have a tag card, and when placing their piece on the board, only one of the 2 players on each team places a figure. They may decide in private who is going to start. So let's take a look at what the tag card actually does, and then we're going to show an example of it being used. Tag reads, resolve this card at priority 1. You may link this card as though it were a light, medium, or heavy attack. Replace your figure with your tag partner. They may continue to combo as per the normal rules. No more than 1 tag may be played in a combo. So, in short, what tag lets a player do is swap their character with their tag partner's character. Then, that character may continue to link. However, they must follow the normal stipulations of a combo. First of all, that player may only link out of tag. This means they could only link a light, medium, or heavy attack. Second, they must still comply with the combo limit of 4. So let's take a look at an example. In this example, Marika and Octavius are on a team against Ale and Seal. Marika plays Backslap and Ale plays Serious Strike. She wins priority with Backslap's super fast priority of 6. After dealing the attack damage of 1, she then decides to use its meter ability to move 2 spaces away on the game board. Then, Marika links into Secret Knives. After drawing an additional card with its resolve ability, she deals 2 link damage with Secret Knives. Finally, seeing that she has nothing left in her hand she can link with to do damage, Marika decides to use her tag card. After playing tag, Marika replaces her figure with her tag partner's. Octavius puts his figure in her spot and then may continue to combo as normal. He decides to link into Fires of Octavia. Since Fires of Octavia isn't the first card in the combo to deal damage, it deals its 2 link damage instead of its 4 attack damage. Fires of Octavia also gives him the range he would need to hit Ale, since he is 2 spaces away. Then, since Octavius has reached the combo limit of 4, he ends his turn. When Ale resolves his card, the only valid target on the game board would now be Octavius. Also, it's important to note that during the cleanup phase, Marika would gain both Backslap and Secret Knives as meter, and then return the tag card to her hand. Octavius, on the other hand, would gain Fires of Octavia to meter since it did damage. So, you can see the tag card is used to swap characters in and out of play. Let's go over how some specific mechanics work in tag. First, each player gets a draw phase. During the draw phase, all 4 players get to draw up to their hand size. This means that even if you're tagged out, you draw up to your hand size. Second, all players get to use abilities and discard cards during the cleanup phase. Meaning, abilities on character cards that happen during the cleanup phase can be used during this phase if players choose to do so. In addition, the player tagged out can still discard a card to the bottom of their deck face down. Third, going to time works a little bit different. First of all, when a player goes to time, the only card they can play, if still tagged in, is their tag card. If a player has gone to time or goes to time from drawing cards while tagged out, they are considered eliminated from the game. They cannot gain health or participate in any way. If both players on a team go to time, the game ends and the team with the most combined health wins the game. Lastly, players who are tagged out gain 2 health at the start of every draw phase. However, they can never gain more health than they started the game with. Scramble Battle is a way to play the game with 4 players simultaneously. This can either be in teams of 2v2 in a mode that we call Team Scramble, or a free-for-all where all 4 players are battling each other at the same time. This mode proves to be the most complicated to play and requires a pretty good grasp on the timing of cards in 1v1 before players can hope to finish a scramble game in a reasonable amount of time. Hopefully this video will help a little bit. The first big difference in setup is that all 4 players start on the board. If you were playing in teams, 2 players should start on the red spaces while another 2 players should start on the blue spaces. Next, each player will need a set of target tokens for every possible figure they could target. In a team game, you can only target the other 2 opposing players, so you would only need 2 tokens, 1 token for each of them. So with that, we are ready to play. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is how target tokens work. During the play phase, every player selects a card like normal and places it face down. The only difference is that in addition to this card, they also play a target token face down. When cards are revealed, each player also reveals a target token. So the target token revealed is the character that player resolves their card against. So let's take a look at some examples on targeting and how cards we already know would resolve. The only difference in Scramble or Team Scramble is that when a throw targets a character who also played a throw, you both tech. So let's move on to some examples. We're going to make them tough ones too, just to make sure that you feel comfortable with Scramble. In this example, we have a 4-player free-for-all. Each player is playing a different character, and during setup, they place their figures on the game board. Now, each player chooses a card like normal during the play phase. In addition to just choosing a card, however, each player must place a target token face down on or near their chosen card. Once all players are ready, the cards are flipped and we resolve them like normal. So let's see who played what. Marika decided to play Backslap, and it looks like Marika targeted Octavius. Octavius played a Jab, and it looks like he targeted Ale. Ale played a Throw, and he targeted Seal. Seal also played a Throw and targeted Marika. So how does this resolve? Like normal, we go down the resolution order. On the resolution order, we can see that throws resolve first, so Ale and Seal's throw would resolve first. Since at least one of these throws targeted each other, they are both teched, or cancelled. Now, all players get to resolve in priority order, since nothing played gets to resolve before that on the resolution order chart. Since Octavius and Marika both have the same priority, however, they would trade and check priority to see who gets to resolve their light attack first. Now, it's important to note that in Scramble, anytime a player plays a card that resolves at a specific priority, all players who played cards at that priority must check priority to see whose card resolves first when it's time to resolve their cards. So, back to the example. After trading, both players would resolve cards like normal, link like normal, or otherwise play the game the same. So let's keep the same example as before, only let's say that this time Ale played a dash instead of a throw, but still targeted Marika. In addition, let's say that Octavius decides to target Marika instead of Ale. Now, how would this resolve? Well, throws still resolve first according to the resolution order chart, so Seal's throw would resolve against Marika. Only this time, it's not teched. It would cancel her backslap and move her 1 space in any direction. Since Marika's card got cancelled, Octavius doesn't have to check priority to see if his card would get to resolve first, since no other cards on the table have a priority of 6 when it's time to resolve his card. Instead, he would just resolve his Jab. Marika would normally be out of range, but his jab allows him to move one space when being resolved. So he would take advantage of this and move one space towards Marika. He would then get to link into a full combo if he had the cards and subsequently blow Marika up. So here is where some different things happen. Aelle would then get to resolve dash, but since he didn't take any damage before resolving his card, he would get to move up to 2 spaces and be able to link out of his dash as though it were a medium attack. So as we can see, as per the normal rules, a player who doesn't take damage before resolving their card gets to still link cards. So let's take another look at the same example. Let's pretend that this time, though, Aelle, Marika, and Seal all target Octavius and play throw, and Octavius places jab targeting Aelle. What happens? Well, all throws happen at the same time, but only one throw can hit an opponent a turn. So, when multiple throws target the same individual, all players must check priority to see whose throw goes first. So in this example, all 3 of the characters involved would have to check priority to see which one gets to cancel Octavius's card, move him, and deal the 3 damage. And while we're on the topic, multiple cards revealed that resolve during the pre-priority step must also check priority as per the normal rules. This particular example is far more rare, but no less important. That would conclude our scramble example, but just to recap and to be very concise, the cards do resolve in the same manner in scramble. Dashes only trade with other dashes, otherwise they win when tying in priority. Throws still work the same and are teched by other throws targeting your character. If multiple throws target the same character, you must check priority to see whose resolve and whose whiffs. Being knocked down only reduces your priority by 1 on the following turn, meaning a player still resolves the card they played that turn at its normal priority, and if a player goes to time, they are immediately eliminated. Remove their piece from the game board. If all players go to time, the players with the most health wins. If a single player is ever left on the game board in a scramble game, they win the game regardless of how much health they have. So, a specific on setup I missed. Regardless of what mode you're playing, during a multiplayer game you may never have more than 1 character with the same name per side. So in a team scramble game, each side may have Marika, but a single side may not have 2 teammates playing Marika. In scramble we discourage mirror matchups, but if you do it, we recommend not having more than 2 of any given character being played at once. Regardless of what variant you play, being rung out immediately eliminates an opponent. In tag, at the start of their partner's draw phase, they enter the arena on any one of their starting locations on the board. Also in multiplayer, when jumping over an opponent, you may never jump over more than 1 opponent when moving a single space, meaning if 2 figures are in a row on the game board, you may not jump 2 spaces to clear them both. First, we wanted to mention our playtester's favorite version of Scramble. We found that during playtesting, Scramble could get pretty chaotic and would lose some real strategy in the game, which left a sour taste in some of our playtesters' mouths. So no one likes getting ganged up on and whatnot too, so this was a way to curb that. So we developed Vampire Scramble. In Vampire Scramble, each player starts with 10 health, and anytime a player takes damage, they lose that much health, and the player dealing the damage gains that much health. Once a single player has gone to time, the character with the most health wins. A player may never be reduced lower than 0 health, and any damage dealt beyond 0 health doesn't count, meaning if you hit a player with 0 health, you gain none, and if you hit a player for 4 damage who has 2 health remaining, you would only gain 2 health. A player who gets wrung out loses all health and is removed from the game, so it's the only time there's player elimination in the mode, and the player who wrung him out gains that much health. Lastly, a player may always gain more health than the amount printed on their character card. This mode prevents players from being ganged up on, as well as removes player elimination, unless of course you get wrung out. The second variant we have tried is getting rid of going to time. We've tried this in all modes. We actually don't recommend this mode due to balance reasons, but hey, it's your game now, so you should play however you have fun playing. So when playing without going to time, the best way we've found it working is players just reshuffle cards in their discard or removed from the game into their decks and continue playing like normal. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching our multiplayer video.